Brandon Bogard, Compass. Thanks for joining the podcast.
Thanks for having me, man.
I'm really excited.
Me too, dude.
You're one of my favorite people. Why don't you tell me a little bit about yourself? Where are you from? How did you end up in New York City?
Dude, there's so much of that. 36, originally born in Texas. Like we were just talking about, the Native American boy. I grew up there. Skateboarding, came from kind of an artistic family, and when my parents split up, I got really good at skateboarding. So I used to be a semi-professional skateboarder. That kind of turned into getting into art, right? I feel like that's kind of like a segue, but I feel like artistic people are into skateboarding and vice versa, right?
I skated.
Yeah, see, there you go.
I wasn't very good, but I can ollie about that.
So after when I was sponsored, I got really into art, and then I hurt my leg. And that turned into art school. Art school turned somehow into New York City, and New York City turned into selling real estate somehow. I mean, there's a lot of stories there. There's a lot of moving parts.
I mean, at what point did you decide, I can make it in New York in the real estate business? Like, what was that moment where you're like, this is what I'm going to do, and I'm going to do it well?
Man, so I lived in this building. I quit working in the fashion industry, and I was living in this building in the Lower East Side. And this really cool looking older dude that is always well dressed, and we always kind of shot the breeze downstairs, right? And one day he comes down and he was like, hey man, can I ask you something? And we kind of were shooting the breeze, and he's like, are you like a trust fund kid? Like, what do you do, dude? Like, you're always down here drinking expensive coffees from across the street, And I'm like, no, dude, I'm losing my shit. Like, I don't know what I'm gonna do, right? And he's like, what do you mean? I used to work in the fashion industry. And I was like, what do you do? And he's like, well, I work in real estate. So we're rapping, and I forget how the conversation went, but he's like, here's my card. If you go get your real estate license, I'll get you a job. And he's a big broker. His name's Tom Doyle. He still works down at Sotheby's International. And that was 11 years ago. 11 years? Yeah, man.
You look too young to be working in real
36, dude. It's that Native American blood, dude. Sunscreen and tequila keeps you looking young.
Well, so on that though, there's got to be a huge difference you see, not only having 11 years of experience, but being a 25-year-old selling real estate in New York City, and now being 36-year-old selling real estate. Like, what do you feel is the biggest difference 11 years later?
I mean, there's such a learning curve when you're younger, and you because this is a self-made business, right? You got to go out and you got to make relationships with people, and you got to find people who are buying and selling real estate. And if you don't know where to start and you have a little bit of guidance, you're kind of just like, dude, what am I? You know what I mean?
But do you find it? Did you find it tougher at 25 for people to take you seriously, to say hey,
far,
I can,
dude,
right?
I look like Jack White. Yeah, I got to show you a photo of my ID. Like, I had long hair, looked like Nikki Sixx, right? My old office manager at Soho used to joke with me and be like, Jack White, I like your new listing. You know what I mean? So it was like, and then you got to grow up at some point and be like, this is fun. And I'm like, I'm going to take on the world. And then you're like, oh shit, I got to be taken serious. And you get once I think you get established, you can find your own style and rhythm, and you have that clout of being, making your clients money and getting property sold. You can ease up on, sucking up.
Yeah.
Does it make sense?
It does.
It is different. And then I think that comes with learning how to handle different situations and different people's, not everyone's the same, man. Some people are out to just make money. Some people are out to sell their property because them and the missus split, and it's a total different scenario of helping, like who you got to help, who to talk to. This is a timely manner. It's not about the money. Some people are like, don't talk to me till you got my $1 million bucks.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you learn that as you get burned through that. You got to get spanked a couple times before you pick that up. You know what I mean?
I can relate to starting off in the real estate business because I've been there, and then I think it's so easy to get discouraged, and so easy to get pushed to like the point where you're like, I don't think I can do this.
Yeah. And
I'm assuming that you've experienced that.
Man,
right?
there's not anymore, because I've been doing it long enough, and
right.
There's when I was
what was that point where you finally, was there a moment where something happened, you did a deal, or something happened where you solidified your decision? You're like, no, this is what I'm doing and I do it well.
Yeah, so, I started it wasn't like I just started doing sales, right? So I started and it was the open rental market hustle, right? So I learned at a company where you go take photos and you go horse people around. I talked to my sales manager at that time and he was like, if you really want to do this, here's how you meet people, right? You're young and you're from Texas, you don't know anyone here. You don't have a sphere of influence, or those terms they're thrown around loosely.
Right.
You don't know people who own property, or your family doesn't live here that owns people, right? Or no, right. So you didn't go to college here. You don't have friends that are buying and selling. So he goes, you need to go meet people who are trying to sell their property by themselves, and it's a numbers game. At some point, you're finally going to meet with someone who's going to say, you know what, kid, I like you. You're a little rough around the edges, but I'll give you a go. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
is that what happened to you?
It's exactly what happened.
Nice.
And then I took it serious, man. I got one, that turned into two, then it turned into a referral, and I said, shit, all I got to do is not blow this money I'm making and keep building relationships. And that's what, I wish I would have known younger to keep that going, because it's hard when you're young and you start making some cash and then you fun time, and you go blow off and go shoot back to Texas or go hang out with friends, and then
when it runs out, you're like, oh.
Yeah, the pipeline's gone, and then the next thing you know, you're back to the hunting and eating. Getting the repertoire, people believing in you, and getting higher price listings, that comes with just the grind, man. And then getting the with anything in life, it's trial and error, unless you're lucky and it falls in your lap. And that happens, but it's definitely trial and error.
I mean, look, it goes without saying, hard work is going to pay off in any career that you choose. What are most people's objections, though? What are they just like, fuck you, I don't want a broker? Or are they like, what, they think they can do it themselves?
It's across the board, right? So a lot of people are trying to save money, and you've sold real estate, so there's a lot of people who can slip through the cracks and like.
Yeah, but I don't sell real estate anymore, but I'm a firm believer that if you hire the right broker, that broker should be able to get you the most that the market's going to pay.
In the shortest amount of time.
So
they have statistics on this that, like, NAR, National Association of Realtors, they've tracked this of how many people actually put their property on for sale by owner, and then how many of them actually end up listing 90 days later with the real estate agent.
That's 60, 90 days lost.
In clearing a mortgage, right? So here's the other thing is, it's the ones that actually build the relationship with that person, and you stay honest with them, and they do end up listing. So the thing is, they always do, and this goes back to like guys who are having a hard time finding business, just be an ethical person and treat that person like money's not involved. This is something I learned recently too, or a couple years back.
Educate
a business
them.
Coach. Yeah, like just follow up with them and be like, yeah, I know a million brokers suck. Let me try to bring value. Let me hold an open house while you're busy at work on Tuesday night. You want to go out with the wife and eat a steak? Let me be there from 6:30 to 7.
Have you done that?
Hell yeah, when I was younger, for sure.
Just yeah.
To get
feed the fish.
To build. Well, the thing is, you want to build a relationship.
Leave the kids. Leave the kids. Have an open house. Go to dinner.
Yeah, exactly.
The shit that brokers will do, man.
Look, the thing
it's
is,
hard work.
and we still offer those services. Sometimes people will call us out of the blue, like, "Hey, I'm selling my place on my own. Would you bring some people by?" And I'm like, "Dude, if you don't mind, give me some more information about you and your situation, and we'll run through our database of buyers that we've sold properties comparable price. We'll see what we can do, and then we just stay in touch with that person." And
our team has worked with you on several projects, so
absolutely.
We know firsthand that you take your marketing to the next level. The team that you work for, Ralph's team at Compass, takes their marketing to the next level, which is even more so.
Right.
You that's where you physically see the dollars. That you as the agent representing the property are spending dollars that the sellers most likely wouldn't have the balls to spend, because they don't even understand what to do with that.
Right.
You have a great video, great. Like, there's all these different things that somebody could do on their own, but like, as somebody who's sold real estate and practiced real estate, and then transitioned over 12 years ago and started a production company where we provide marketing for real estate agents, right? Now that I see everything that we do that goes into the marketing on just the video and the social media aspect of things, not even like the photos and the websites and the mailings and the follow-ups and this and that, the amount of work that goes into it. It's like the sellers have to sit back and go, if I don't have a job and I'm a marketing expert, then maybe I've got a shot at selling my own place. But then there's the fact of the matter of the emotional attachment, which it's kind of like when I draft my fantasy baseball team. Like, you know what I mean? I'm like, I'm going to draft David Wright, even though he has 4 at-bats a year and he's got a broken back, because I'm a Mets fan. You know, it's the same mentality. It's like, no, this place is worth more. And it's like, clear the place is worth what somebody's going to pay for.
Yeah, exactly.
It, you know?
The place is worth what a buyer's willing to walk in and pay for.
Which a seller hardly understands.
And it's such a different time of advertising property, of shooting some photos, throwing it up on and waiting for someone to come out. We're in a different world of where everyone is constantly seconds communicating, right? Just digesting whatever it is they want. News apps, the headline will go down 4 or 5 sentences, doesn't catch it, next, right? Back out. Instagram, same thing. So if you're not if you're not spending time and thinking of the moving image and getting that in front of someone and how they're going to consume it, to click the link to get to the website, that's the world we're in now.
How does the person who's not in real estate and not in marketing keep up with that?
Right.
Is the question.
You know, and thank you for all the work you guys do, because we have a strong referral base now because of that. Because people are like, dude, you're thinking of selling, call Brandon on Ralph's team and him and his fiance, because they did it in 30 days. It's that targeted marketing, man. It's not, there's Street Easy and Zillow and all that. Yeah, whatever. But the person who's really interested, who's not thinking about it, and then all of a sudden it pops in their feed and they're like, oh shit, what? I didn't know about this. And you get a text at 9:30 at night. That shit works, man. Yeah. And it costs money though. And it costs professionals to do it. So
it certainly does. What would you say is your biggest accomplishment in life?
Man, I guess just growing up and we traveled 3 months out of the year last year, you know what I mean? And still sold an insane amount of property and made all of our clients like a lot of money, got engaged in St. Peter's Square in Vatican City.
Congrats, man.
Like, I had not being, worried about anything and just having fun. My hair's still there. It's gray, So
listen.
I don't know. Knock on wood. I think that's it. Like I'm in such a happy place of that. Like I guess I've done so much in life with like fashion and skateboarding, and then busting my ass to get through real estate. Now real estate's really good. It's like, what's next, man? What
would you say that you're not very good at?
Being organized, dude. I'm not gonna lie. Like I'm a hot mess behind the show. Like I can be entertaining and great at advertising and thinking my way through things, but behind the scenes on the back end of like paperwork and all that stuff, dude.
It's another side of the brain, though.
It is. It's completely, and that's not me. That's not my MO, man. That's to be able to come up with
creative ideas, for marketing, to be able to, just in general focus on, selling and marketing, and just being present and representing a property. It's a whole different side of the brain than it's like organizing the paperwork and
it's insane too.
Board packages, or
right? Yeah, and so that's another thing about becoming successful. Surround yourself with people who are better than the things that you're not at, right? So you've met people on our team. So we're a vast of eclectic personalities, right? And we all bring our own strengths and weaknesses. And then so having an assistant who's insanely organized, and my fiance also, who's now in our business, who's killing it, her bringing that strength has just been a godsend too.
Basically, when you're about to go to a listing presentation, is there anything that you do to prepare? Other than the preparing of information, but is there anything you do like physically, like get psyched? Like do you do jumping jacks? Like,
AC/DC, Back in Black.
Is that right?
Dude, on repeat on the train over. Like you gotta get hyped and have that like go in, conquer. You gotta be, know your numbers, right? Know your things before you go in and talk to them. Anticipate the questions you're gonna get, and then just go in there and be fucking hyped. Be psyched that you have the opportunity to be in front of someone who's like, hey, we think that you can get this done for us. But yeah, dude, AC/DC. Nice. That's the skater in me.
Yeah. No doubt.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So definitely all the time.
So I know you sell real estate all over New York City,
yeah.
Manhattan and Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Anywhere else? Just Manhattan and Brooklyn, right?
Just Manhattan and Brooklyn,
right.
Yeah.
I was born and raised in Bensonhurst, Brooklyn. Is anybody hanging out in Bensonhurst yet? Has it become cool yet? I haven't heard anybody talking about it.
I don't think so, bro. I think you'd be the first to know.
Yeah?
No, man. It's cool out there, though, dude. It's super neighborhoody. I like it.
It's different. I mean, it's still Brooklyn to me. You know,
Right.
I still pop out there every once in a while, but it's certainly changed a lot.
Right.
Like most of Brooklyn, like most of the city has evolved. It's been really great talking to you, and I'm really glad that you came on. You're like I said, you're one of our favorite people. How can people follow you on Instagram? What's your handle there?
Brandon.m.bogard.
And the M is for
Michael.
Are you sure?
Yeah. Brandon motherfucking Bogard.
That's what I thought.
That's exactly what it is.
And yeah, man, thanks for coming through.
Thanks, dude. I appreciate it, brother.
All right, man. Good shit.
Yeah.
That was awesome.